All right, guys, I just want to look at XTZ here, and I want to look at this this 4-hour apex down in here. Like when the price had a crash and we dropped below the red 200 moving average and we dropped below all moving averages. I want to see what actually happened in this point, because we're kind of in the exact same point here right now, where we've had this crash right here. And we had the first dip low, and then we bounced up into the red 200 moving average, and then we rolled away again, just like we did here. We crashed below it, we bounced up into the red, and then we rolled away again. And we're right in that point. And we are kind of right in this exact same point right here. So I just want to compare the both of those. Now you can see, if I can go back into this area, you can see this right here. This was the crash back whenever that was, September last year, and this is right now. So you can see what happened, right? I should have made a bigger video maybe, but you can see that we are kind of right here. We are almost right here right now, and there is actually a bounce up, so they're saying that this should bounce up, at least to above the red 200. Now, this is very common practice. A lot of times, the first attempt to break the red 200 moving average can be a failure. Okay, and look at this. The first attempt to break the red 200 was, in fact, a failure. This is very normal. This can actually be a shortened point to come back down. We actually drop back down, stop hunted the lows, which if we stop hunt the lows, I will be loading boats on a lot of these altcoins if we actually do get this opportunity to come down and stop hunt these. It'll be a beautiful thing, to be honest. If we come back down here and do this, loading up on a boat right there would be amazing if it gives us this opportunity. And then it obviously chopped about. Well, we spiked back up and came back down, chopped about, and then we went on the real bull market. So there was a process here, and the process did take from start to finish. We'll call the low actually, because on the low was 92 days. So it's a 3-month base, and we've talked about this before. It ended up being a 3-month base to the lows. We were already halfway through that base. Now you can see that there was a huge spike, and that huge spike's quite a large percentage from these lows. A double bottom low to here was a 64% bounce, and then obviously we sold off again, and then we bounced. So there was movement inside the base. It wasn't just a choppy crap range. There was definitely some movement to take advantage of. But you can see I've already got my alarm set down here below the lows. For example, if we did bounce down here, like I'm almost tempted to start accumulating XTZ here. For example, if you had $50,000 you were going to put into this, you could put $10,000 right now. And if it did go down here, you could buy another 10 here. If somehow it dropped even lower and you got even luckier and it went to $1, you could put another 1,000 there. And then you would have a decent average down here, and then you could add the next 20 into strength. For example, when we break all of these moving averages, for example, and it might bring your average up, but the thing is, you're buying into a safer market at that point. Worst case scenario, if you got even luckier again, you drop down below $1. Keep accumulating on the dip, and you would have a decent entry point, a decent average point for when this market actually does recover. Like if we look at these 6-month charts, this really should come back up here and take liquidity at some point. So, in theory, the lower you get to buy it, the more profit you should make eventually. So if this is going to be another 3 months here, we talked about in the base previously, you can see that this is beautiful. This is exactly what I was going to say. Look at the 3-month candle here. This is exactly the candle we got was that chop was in that base. That was the second half of the 3 months. This was the first half of it right on here. So we created a narrow body bar in here, a doji candle, and after that doji candle, we pumped hard to the upside and moved back up. So there is the possibility that this range could last for another 30 days. No, we're actually 45 days into it. The other one lasted 90 days in total. So maybe another month, month and a half down on here to start creating this candle, creating maybe a smaller candle, just like we kind of created here. This candle might look bearish, but when you look at the smaller time frames, it was reaccumulation, and that reaccumulation allowed for that big move to go back up. So we really need to see what we're going to get here. Are we going to bounce up and flip green? You can see what happened the last time. You know, we did create this red candle down at the lows. It was a double bottom stop hunt down on the lows here, and there actually was the movement upwards from this. So it did dip down, took liquidity down in that wick down here, and then we got that move back up to the top end of the range. Then we came back down again, and then we went on a bull market. Of course, the moves are not going to be the same, but the principles are the same. It probably needs a reaccumulation, and we'll need to come back down here to take liquidity on these wicks before moving up. Or if we move up, we'll have to come back down at a later date to take them. Just saying that this is a very bare wick, large wick, very bare, large wick, not to be taken at some point. This is a good example, right? I mean, it didn't completely get taken, at least not yet. You know, are we going to come down there and fill that void at some point? That in theory would mean that we're going to get a stop hunt of this level. You know, we're going to whatever, and then move back up. I mean, if we get a fill on the middle of this, God, that'd be fantastic. Sorry, guys, I'm rambling a bit here, but you know, I'm really getting. I suppose you would want to say I'm getting a bit itchy fingers, and I really want to get into something nice. It's a new 6 month candle here, and you know, there definitely should be some nice plays popping up.